Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Good evening. Happy Tuesday night. I am so excited to come live again today with my special guest, Colleen Crawford. You're in for a special treat tonight. I'm so excited. If you're joining us live, say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know that you can hear me okay so we can move forward. Hey, David, how are you? Welcome from Australia. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm so excited to share this with you tonight. You guys are in for a treat. Grab your pen and paper. You don't want to miss this. Colleen is amazing, and she's going to be sharing success tips tonight to finally transform your mindset, get you on a track of success, get you off that chain of failure. So I'm going to wait. As soon as I know that she joined, I will be adding her to the broadcast. For those of you who are joining new and have never seen my broadcast before, my name is Stephanie Skokowski. I'm coming to you live from Pennsylvania. Hey, Stacy. And my passion is to help you become your best you in your mindset, in your health and wellness, in your businesses, because there is no competition except for the person that you're staring at in the window. And I see, hi Amy, how are you? I see Colleen is coming on board. So I'm so excited. I'm going to have her join in just a minute. But again, don't be a stalker. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And Colleen is going to have some incredible training for you tonight. And so this is going to be very interactive. There's no limit to this. We're going to go as long as you need us to. So please post your questions in the comment box below. No question is too big or too small, and we're going to get this going for you. So I'm so excited. I met Colleen last fall when I went to a PSI, Personal Success Institute seminar in Cleveland, Ohio, and this woman is amazing. Where do you see her energy? She is a wife and a mom. She's a transformational trainer with over 20 plus years of experience in the mind, body, self-improvement arena. She is an energy agent. She passionately shares these principles to impact other people's lives, and she's just amazing. Hi, David from Tasmania. That is so awesome. Hi, Maxine. Welcome. So, hi, Ryan. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know. Hey, Diane, if there's any glitches or anything like that. And let me see if I can invite Colleen to the broadcast. Say hello. There she is. Hey, beautiful.
Hi.
How are you?
Here we are.
I'm excited.
Happy Tuesday night.
Hello.
Excited too. This is my first time ever doing this.
Oh my gosh, I'm so honored. This is so exciting.
You.
Oh my gosh. And you're just amazing. I just have to tell you, when I met you last fall, I'm like, oh my gosh, if we could like bottle an ounce of your energy and it's just, you can just feel your vibration level is like, whoop, way up here. It's just, you've been such a blessing. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about your background. Like, how did you even find this sector?
Well, I'll keep that short because I want to definitely have meat and content for people and answer all their questions, etc. But the real short version is that, you know, what you guys are going to learn about, if you haven't learned it already, to think is to create. And I had some results in my life in the late 90s that were not what I would call effective results. I was living a life where I was like, externally everything looked like it was really great, but internally I was miserable. And so I ended up going to a training. And when I went to this training, there was one segment in it. It was called Victim Responsible. And what she did is she put on the chart, you know, here's a life in Victimville, okay, where everything is determined by your outside circumstances, things that happen to you. And then, oh, by the way, here's this other choice of life called responsible, where it's a come from internally. Like, I'm the one that makes the choices. I'm the one that has the thoughts, words, and actions that create my life. And when I sat in that box, in that chair, I swear, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a brick in my face, where all of a sudden I thought, I don't have to live this life that I've created. I can actually change it. And that was it. I was done. Because that was such a hugely impactful thing for me. It changed everything in my life. It changed my relationships, changed my motherhood, changed my career, changed everything in my life. And so because of those circumstances and because of the results that I've created since, because I've continued in that work nonstop since 1998. And then I got involved in coaching and training, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward 3 states, 11 companies, all kinds of other different things. I'm now residing in Cleveland, Ohio. Moved here in 2010 and was really excited to get the training here. And so all I can tell you is that when you learn how to live a life in responsible versus victimhood, everything changes. Yeah. And I want to make sure that the whole world knows about it, because quite frankly, I'd be dead right now. I would be either dead or extremely miserable if there wasn't a change that took place 20 years ago.
Wow. That's awesome.
Welcome to the world of self-improvement. Those of you that are listening, if this is something you're into, trust that you can make things different. I mean, trust that you can. It's totally possible.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard, well, your life is the way it is right now. It's your fault. You created it. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And then when you finally digest that and swallow that pill, it's like, I did create this. Like, wow, it does put you into responsible mode for sure. That's it. Fantastic. So what do you have to share with us tonight?
Well, holding on that thought, it's kind of like foundation, what we're going to talk about. So I know that you have shared with your team Napoleon Hill, right? Napoleon Hill wrote the book, To Think is to Create, right? We've all heard those sayings. Whether you think you're right or wrong, the bottom line is you're right, because you're the one that's you're the thoughts, and whatever it is that you're thinking, you're the one that's creating it. Yeah. And so people just need to realize that we are a result of what we think about, the mental images that we hold on to, the emotions that we actually attach to whatever those images are, as well as the thoughts, and then of course the actions that we take as a result. So there's, the short chain is to think is to create. The long chain, which I'll review tonight, I call the chain of success or the chain of failure. And there's 2 different ways to look at it. And a lot of people don't realize, it really is just a simple switch. There's some work to do. It's not like you can take, 30, 40 years of a life, or even 20 years of a life that's been ingrained in certain habitual patterns, and then learn something, whether it's through a book or maybe through a tape or whatever, and just expect everything to be different overnight. That's just not realistic, because those patterns are hardwired and we're pretty much running on autopilot. So here's the key. If you can learn that this is true, and you can learn to operate from a place of responsible, and believe me, that's a whole nother hour module that we're not even going to get into tonight. But if you can trust that you are capable and responsible of creating, because you did create what you have right now, which means you can actually create something different, then your life can be completely different. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. So we're gonna review a couple different things. One is, I just want to make sure that foundationally everybody understands the teaching that I'm going to talk about comes from that fundamental principle, is that what you think is what you create. And then we'll go to the chain of success, chain of failure. I'm going to talk about something else, which is called the reticular activator, and how that operates in the laws of attraction. And I'm hoping that everybody that's on your feed right now knows about the movie The Secret. If you haven't seen the movie The Secret, please watch it. It's on Netflix. It's an easy rent. It's about 90 minutes. It is a theatrical version of the laws of attraction, combined with almost a documentary effect, where you have a scientist, a philosopher, other gurus, etc. So if you haven't seen the movie, watch it. If you have seen the movie, believe it, watch it again, because every time you do watch it, you're going to pick up more. Isn't that true?
Exactly. Absolutely.
And we want to get our mind, we just want to get into that place where we're focusing purposefully, intentionally, in a positive state towards the future ideal state that we wish to live. Okay. So we'll talk about those things. I'm happy to answer questions or get into specifics at whatever level you guys want to. Okay.
Definitely. I'll keep an eye on the comments here, guys. So if you have a specific question as Colleen's going through this, just type it below. I'll catch it and make sure she gets it. So, and we'll do a Q&A at the very end if we miss anything.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So having said that, we've already gone over this. And by the way, I apologize. The board is going to be backwards, so I realize you're not going to be reading it the right way. This is my very first time being on a Facebook Live, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For inviting me to this. I got to tell you, just a real quick segue to laugh about this.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to talk about event plus response, right? So, okay, what do you do to set up your camera? What do you do to set up lighting? What do you do to get yourself ready for anything? So how does this translate in life, right? So this is an event, and I'm going to bring to the event my thoughts. So either A, this is going to be a lot of fun and a great time, or I'm going to get freaked out, stressed out, because this is way beyond out of my comfort zone, never done it before, la, 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 la. You can see how this would apply. It's the same thing. I think it'd be a great example to use.
Yeah.
But anyway, backing up to this, I want to talk about first, in the laws of attraction, And I want to, because I'm gonna go through this, understand that we have the thought process that's involved. But in the laws of attraction, there are 3 elements. Okay, you probably remember this from the movie. The first one is to ask. You need to be clear of what you want. The universe does not do fuzzy, okay? So in other words, you need to have a crystal clear picture or a vision, right? A vision statement, a vision board, whatever that looks like, a vision paragraph, something that you have in your life that you know you want, whether it's 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, next week, etc. Be clear. Don't say, well, I really want to be married and I want a loving partnership, and then go date or sleep around with 50 million people and not commit to anybody, okay? That's like a total message to the universe. It's saying, I say I want this, but my actions are not in alignment with what I want. So the truth is, it's not really going to be delivered. Or you might say, well, I really want this amazing career and whatever that capacity might be. I want to be a caterer, for instance. And then you go work at a gas station to wash cars. You got to start to get really crystal clear and be committed to that process, because what people tend to do is they'll think about something that they want. They get a little freaked out that it's bigger than what they think they can actually receive. And so they pull back on the vision. And when they pull back on the vision, they're going into fear mode. And when they go into fear mode, then they're setting up themselves for this mixed message, and they're not remaining committed. And the reason they don't stay committed is because they can't see the how. They don't understand how it's going to be delivered to them. And when they can't see the how, they tend to shift and go to other directions. So we're going to talk about this. First, you have to ask what you want, but then you also have to believe that it can be delivered to you. And that is trusting. Believing is trusting that the universe is beneficent. That the universe will deliver to you, provided that you're clear. You don't need to understand the how. The how will show up through your commitment. So think about that, okay? Think about that. Something in your life that you know you're super duper committed to, but you weren't really clear on how it was going to show up in your life. And boom, out of nowhere, there was some kind of sign, some kind of relationship, maybe a phone call, maybe an email. Something came to you that made whatever you were looking for and wanting to bring into your life a little more apparent. And maybe you took an action step and boom, it fell into place. The other piece is you need to be in the position to receive. And the receiving end of this, of the 3 elements, the receiving is noticing. And noticing requires a particular activator. I'm going to come back to that, okay? So just want to talk about laws of attraction for a minute. Ask, believe, receive. And then let's go to the think is to create. So if you believe right now that all of your results are a combination of several things, the thoughts that you're having, the mental imagery that you're holding on to, and the emotions that those erupt, in addition to the actions that you take, that would equal your results, correct? Yes. All right, so let's play that out. Do we believe that thoughts are how everything starts? Like everything in your room, everything in your life, right? Starts with a thought.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And real quick, Diane, yes, The Secret is a movie.
I'm just going to
check it out. Go ahead. I was just answering Diane's question.
Good. Yeah. Feel free to chime in and tell me this. Hey, listen, everybody. I'm excited. I talk fast. I move fast. I might freak you out a little bit, okay?
It's all good.
Just ask me to slow down. It's not a problem. I can do that.
You're good.
But I'll get on my little rampage because I like to get through a lot of information as fast as possible. I'll slow it down for a minute.
No, you're fine.
From the initial premise of everything starts with what happens after we have a thought. So here I'm going to use a very simple example. I'm going to use a simple example that I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to release 10 pounds of weight, or I want to be 10 pounds lighter, whatever that might be. Okay. I have 2 different tracks that I can take on this. One is going to be my success, and will be the failure. Okay. So the first part is it starts with a thought, and that thought is that I want to be X pounds, right? If my belief system, which comes from I am capable, I am a lean, clean, loving machine, I can do this, yada, 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 I'm going to go towards that chain of success, okay? So I have this thought that I want to lose 10 pounds. I have a belief system that I am a lean, clean, loving machine. I have an emotion about this, that I'm capable, I can do it. I'm actually excited because I'm going to fit those jeans that I couldn't put on 2 weeks ago. After that, I've got an attitude in addition to that emotion that's going to keep me excited relative to reaching my goals. And then I'll have a behavior, The behavior might be that I actually work out a couple times a week. Maybe I drink more water. I pay attention to what's crossing my lips. The choices are all absolutely in alignment with what I really want, including the food intake and exercise, which derives a result. So this is the pattern. This is the actual chain. I have a thought, which is from my belief system about myself or other people in the world. I have an emotion that comes with that. And in that emotion, I also have an attitude. And from that, I have a behavior, which ultimately becomes a choice. And at the end of that choice is a result. Can you see, if I did all the things right in this line, that I would end up with my 10 pounds off, right?
Yep.
So what's the other side of that? The other side of that would be if my belief system were different after I had a thought. So let's say I want to lose 10 pounds. It'll never happen. My belief system is that I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm not capable. I look in the mirror, I'm like, this is hanging over my jeans. So my belief system is not so much. I don't believe that I'm capable of doing this. I'm saying I'm going to do it. I'm saying I'm committed, but I don't really believe it. Then I have this emotion that maybe I'm a little depressed, that I'm looking in the mirror and I feel and I look like I'm fat, and I'm saying negative self-talk. I'm giving myself negative inputs. My attitude is, what the heck? Is this really ever going to work? I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll go to that party and sit on the couch and eat the Doritos. My behavior is in alignment with that, where I don't work out. I blow off the water. I choose to eat all the cheese in the refrigerator and skip the greens. And then from there, all these choices, which were in alignment with my thought pattern, boom, equals my result, that I never lose the 10 pounds. In fact, I probably put 10 more on, right? Okay. So all I'm trying to demonstrate here is that the short version is what you think is what you create.
Yeah.
And yes, there are things that happen in between. Now, there's a lot of reasons that it goes one way or the other. The reasons you are capable of changing, because here's the truth. Is it or is it not one thought away from success? Yes or no?
It's the trajectory of the chain. Absolutely.
It's literally one thought away from success. And where people get tripped up is they don't pay attention enough to their self-talk. They don't pay attention enough to what's actually going on with they're not aware of their actions. They're not aware of their behaviors. They're unconsciously eating when they know that maybe they really want to consciously do something different, but they've got this autopilot that's running, right? And I want to back up and say one thing to this. So I call this the chain of failure, right?
Right.
But what I want to emphasize to everybody here, failure is a lie. It's an absolute lie. There is no such thing as failure. This is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity for you to take in the information that was ineffective. Okay, what did you learn that didn't work? Not use that on the next go around. Take the things that did work. People get so stuck with this hammer of like beating themselves up. And listen, this translates. I'm using a very simple example just so everybody can understand it.
Yeah.
But this translates to every single thing in life. This translates to the love in your relationships. This translates to the success in your work. This translates to abundance and making money and the material things that you want to have in your life. It all starts with the thoughts and the belief systems and the imagery that you're holding on to. Because believe it or not, those thoughts do create the images, which create a lot of emotion. So it's about paying attention to the fact that it's not a failure. Get away from the hammer, get out of the negative place, switch your thoughts, just say next, say stop, and then purposefully turn your head and turn your vision into the positive things that you need to set yourself up with and surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
What might those be? What might those be, Steph? What would you surround yourself with?
First of all, the positive people that also have the same type of vision, because you can't help but absorb and become like the people you're most closely surrounded with all the time. So that's the first one. And like you said real quick, a lot of times people aren't even aware of their self-talk. Like you'll hear someone talk and it's like, do you realize you just beat yourself up 5 times in 1 minute? And they're not even aware. It's subconscious. So it's good to get that feedback from someone that you can trust, because if you're not aware of it, how can you change it? So what was the next question?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Okay. 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day.
Wow.
Now that's some pretty ridiculous math.
Yeah.
All right. And I get it's you could sit in a chair for 5 minutes and get out a piece of paper and just log like dots, dot, dot, dot. Every time you had a positive thought about yourself, your life, your circumstances, whether it's your relationship, your health, your wealth, etc., put some positive dots down. And then all the negative ones that flowed in, because they're there, They're there. Just for the heck of it, do it for 5 minutes. And then multiply that times 5 minutes and 24 hours and see what you're dealing with, because it's a real barrage. So as I said to you before, when I started this, it was like, you know, my life back in 98 was, from all outside appearances, amazing. You know, married, money, kids, yada, yada. But internally, I was a train wreck. I was in a lot of pain. I was not in a good place because my self-talk and my belief system was not supporting the person that I truly wanted to be. And guess what that causes us to? Stress. When we are not in alignment with our core values and we're not in alignment with our passions, like we are literally doing things outside of our core values. Hey guys, that's a notice. That's the reticular activator and the GPS system that we have talking to you, because our mind-body connection is so powerful, and we're so intuitive as human beings. We don't even know how intuitive we are. There's so many great movies out there and documentaries we can watch on, you know, obviously the brain, and there's one called What the Bleep Down the Rabbit Hole. If you guys have not seen that one, that's a really good movie. It's got a lot of scientific based evidence relative to how the power of energy is so connected to all humans. We're connected to everything. And if you can think of thought like green vapor, if I'm in a negative space and I walk into my office and it's like, you guys remember like, what's his name? Pigpen on Charlie Brown. Okay. He used to walk around with a cloud around him, right? Okay. The cloud of dust. Well, that's energy. So if somebody comes into your office, it's like, yeah, man, today's going to be a great day, la, la, la. That energy is so pervasive. And then you got the other person who comes in, you know, kicking the tires, you know, arms across, pissed off, there's not enough coffee, whatever. But that energy translates. So, so if somebody around you is really negative, it's like you got to do one of two things. Either A, you get away from them, or B, you try to lighten it up and help them see themselves. Be a mirror without judgment. It's not our job to judge people, but we could be a mirror that could support them in maybe them showing up as their best and higher self, right?
Exactly.
Again, if that talk is taking place nonstop, we don't even know it's happening. So going back to the movie The Secret, there's an element of it which is so true, and it kind of talks about this, where if you get out of bed in the morning and you stub your toe, and it puts you in a really bad mood because your toe is like pounding and inflamed. Okay, and then you go to put on your pantyhose for work and you tear a hole in them. And then you go into the bathroom and you're out of toothpaste. And you get in the car, like the whole day just starts off that negative space. Done. And again, every single thing in our life translates. So getting back to this, what we have is, you know, to think is to create, the chain of success, chain of failure. There is no such thing as failure. Whatever it is that you're up against, whatever it is that you felt that was an event that happened to you that was negative, the reality is get the negative word off. It's just an event. It's just something that happened to you. It is just an event. That means it is what it is. Accept it for what it is. Stop the resistance, because the more you resist the reality of what is, guess what? It persists. There's so many exercises I could do physically that I can't do here on this, you know, backwards video thing that I'm doing right now. But the truth is that there's so many exercises that can help demonstrate resistance kills you. Resentment kills you. Revenge kills you. There's just no reason to carry that energy, okay? Let go. Accept the things the way they are. Learn what you can from the experience so you can move. So let's talk about the other thing. Let's go to the event. E plus R equals O. This is a really easy one to remember, okay? There is an event in your life. So I'd say, hey, audience, popcorn events to me, but there isn't one. So Steph, you want to give me an event, or you guys want to type one in? But it could be anything that happens to you. And Steph, I'm going to use a simple example with you. Go ahead.
Okay. An event. Okay. My boyfriend left me. Is that what you mean? Like an actual life event? My boyfriend left me.
Yes, that's perfect. Okay. That's perfect. Okay. So the boyfriend left you. And what happens when the boyfriend leaves you is your mind is going to go to a thought process, right? So let's have some fun with this, because there's like an infinite number of ways that you could think about this. And that thought that she has to the boyfriend leaving, we're going to call that the response to the event.
Okay.
This is her response. So give me one of the responses that you would have to the boyfriend leaving you.
Wondering what I did wrong to make him leave.
Okay. So would that be positive or would that be negative?
Probably negative. You'll think of
That'd
them.
probably be negative, right?
It would be all the things I did wrong, or at least thinking that it's what I did wrong. Hey, Lorraine. Yep.
Keyword that you said there, thinking. Like the things you did wrong, or thinking that the things maybe you did wrong.
Because you're speculating.
So the reality is,
for sure,
it was an event. And a lot of that speculation comes out of preconceived notions and what we call prejudice. Yeah. And I don't mean prejudice in the sense of race. I mean prejudice in the sense of like preconceived notions, prejudging, actually thinking we know it all or we have all the answers without gathering the information, right?
Yeah. Our paradigm.
So you have a boyfriend who leaves you, one choice to think, it's a total paradigm. So one response would be, oh my God, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? What did I do to deserve this, right? So that could spiral into more negative thoughts, especially if you didn't gather the information from him to get the truth. If let's just say he vanished and you never heard from him again, you're making up all these things in your head. So what's another thing that you could make up? What could be well, let's back it up. What would be the outcome of that? So this event, he leaves you, you want to know what you did wrong, you spiral out. What's the outcome?
Not worthy to have a successful relationship. Not going to be able to find anyone again. And you don't trust.
Exactly. No relationship. You cut off guys. I'm done with this. You make up all your mind. You make up all these decisions about you, about what's wrong with you and why you don't deserve a relationship and how you're never going to bring a person in, right? So let's go to the complete antithesis. The event. Your boyfriend leaves you. The other response that you could have, or another, because there's one of many. What's the other response you could have?
He realized I was too good for him.
Woo! That's perfect. I mean, we don't want to make anything bad about the other person, but that's really actually a good one.
He was intimidated.
So let's talk about the energy. The response was, okay. The response is, oh my goodness. All right. He's like, wow, this chick, I can't even like stand anywhere within realms of her because she's so off my charts of vibration, right?
Out of my league.
And he decides to exit this because he knows you deserve better. Which is going to feed your self-esteem more? And what's going to be the outcome of you thinking that he left you because, he didn't deserve you?
Exactly.
The outcome might be that you're going to attract even a better person in your life, right? You're going to go not from not trusting or not having a relationship, but you're going to go to probably attracting one of the most amazing human beings in all possibility, right?
Yeah.
So I know this is kind of a very simple example. I'm gonna give a little story, kind of like and Steph, I'll use you as the guinea pig in this, all right?
Okay.
So it's on similar grounds, right? So let's just pretend we're sitting in a room, and there's 20 people in the room, and you're in the front row. And I walk up to you. Now, hey, audience, please, I operate out of no judgment, okay? Nothing is right or wrong. Nothing is good or bad. This is strictly for example. And doing this off the cuff without, the hours of other training behind it, it kind of makes me a little bit nervous because I understand where I'm coming from, okay?
Yeah.
So at any rate, what I would say to you is you're sitting in the front row of the audience, and I look down on you, and I'm like, Stephanie, in the last 20 years of dealing with people in self-improvement audiences and people that are learning to make better themselves, I have never met anybody who didn't get it, who doesn't understand it, who doesn't participate, who isn't like, I just don't understand why you're like acting in this space while you're here in this room. So audience, and Steph, I'm not going to ask you to say anything, but audience, that would be pretty harsh, wouldn't it? Or it would be perceived as harsh, right? Because it's an event. It's me saying something potentially negative towards Stephanie. And Stephanie's self-esteem, this is where we got to get clear. Your self-esteem is not predicated by the outside world or outside circumstances. Your self-esteem is predicated by who you are in your personal empowerment. So the response to that, so if the event was somebody said, you're awful, you're terrible, you're this, you're that, you're whatever, your response could be oh my God, I just knew it. I never have been good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't even belong here. That could be one. Depression outcome, you get nothing from the training. The other one could be, wow, Colleen's like, me out because I'm in the front row and I'm smart and she knows I'm smart. She's just doing this to test the audience because that's how strong I am, right? Like your self-esteem, your thought pattern about yourself is so critically important to what the outcome is going to be. Or you could be sitting there going, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She must be talking to somebody else. Like it may not even resonate with you at all. And so what I want to ask everybody to think about is if somebody says something to you that is what you would consider disempowering or negative or cutting you down or anything that's you're going to perceive negative, first of all, own that you're the one that's perceiving it that way. Start there, because you have to be responsible and you're the one that's thinking that's what it's all about. But the second thing is, and this is just a tactic to use, pretend that person said you had green hair. They're telling you you have green hair. So if I said to you, Stephanie, you have green hair, it doesn't even resonate. It doesn't resonate because you don't have green hair. Truth? So if it doesn't resonate, there's no emotional attachment to it. There's no feeling. You might think that I'm crazy. You know what I mean? That I'm the one that's saying that. So participants in the audience, it's if somebody is yelling at you, being mean, calling you names, anything like that, you know, it really pains me when things like that send people completely sideways or derails them in their capacity of being powerful, because it's just a lie. Hurting people hurt people, number one. Okay. Number two, if something, they do, and if something really resonates with you, then take a look at it. Take a look at it, but without judgment, because typically things don't resonate with us unless we do have a belief system about ourselves that's deep down in there that does say that maybe I'm not smart enough or I'm not good enough. And that's what you got to notice. Not without judgment, but just notice that those thoughts are there, because they can be switched. And it takes some work, and it takes some due diligence, and it takes a little time, because it is a chemical neural pathway that's written in your brain. We don't rewrite those years overnight, but they can be overwritten. There's two ways that happens. Either one, through repetition, okay, nonstop repetition, which is why we do things like affirmations, mantras, vision boards, images, anything that we can monitor as an input into our brain that is in alignment with what we want in our life, that's on the positive side, that will keep us on the path. It's when we give up on that and we start to allow these negative inputs come in. Maybe we're not doing mantras and self-talk is negative, or we don't even bother putting up any kind of visualization, whether it's a vision board or it's any kind of imagery. Maybe you save something on the screensaver of your phone that might be an image of something that you really want in your life that's positive. The line is, if you don't support yourself with those things while you're doing this work, it's very difficult to stay on path. So I encourage you to get clear, get really purpose, get clear on your why, get clear on your passions, get clear on what your vision is, and make sure it's in alignment with your core values. Because when you're in alignment with your core values, work is not work. Work is fun. I do 24 hours a day because I love it so much. That's the truth. I'm in alignment with who I am. I'm having fun. I get to talk to Stephanie and look like this on Facebook. You know what I mean? I've never done it, but I'm having fun. So thank you.
You're doing awesome. Are you kidding?
Okay, well, so here we go. So the event plus response equals outcome, right? Yeah. All right, let's back it up a little bit. Remember this we talked about? You have to ask for what you want. You got to be clear on what you want. You also have to believe that it is capable of being delivered to you. That's like a half-day training. There's a lot of information around this. Watch The Secret. You'll get part of it. Number 3, the receiving element. This is what I want to talk about, receiving. In our brain. In our brain, we have something called the reticular activator. And the reticular activator is a part of our brain that is our filtering system. And our filtering system is filtering 11 million bits of information at any given time. Wow. So let's talk about life, right? At a conscious level, I might pick up a cup like this and drink a glass of water, right? Because I need some water right now, okay?
Water break.
At a conscious level, right? At an unconscious level or at a subconscious level, what? I'm breathing, my organs are working, my body systems are running. I'm not thinking about how to make my body systems run, correct?
Right.
Okay. So another thing, I'm older. I learned how to brush my teeth when I was probably 2 years old. But any of us that have kids can attest, when you get a toothbrush into a 2-year-old's hand, it's not exactly very pretty. They really don't know where to hit the teeth. It's kind of hard. They're figuring it out. There's a lot of work there. That's a conscious choice to learn how to brush teeth. But after you do it so many times, like today, I don't have to think about brushing my teeth at all. Not even a little bit. None of you do either. It's just an autopilot. It's an autopilot behavior that we've ingrained. Okay. Back when you're 16 years old and you first learned how to drive a car. Okay. 16 years old. It's blinker. It's turn signal. It's gas. It's brake. It's mirror. It's I mean, kids are freaked out because they got all the going on. Right. Fast forward a couple of years. You know, we're driving our car, we're putting on makeup, eating a sandwich, I'm steering with my knee. I'm even talking on my phone.
You don't even know how you got to the destination because you were so busy.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. So our brain is so powerful that it writes these programs for us so that we can continue to learn and they can go on autopilot. So part of the brain is called reticular activator. And the reticular activator's job is to notice things that we focus on. So remember this statement: wherever your attention goes, your energy flows, right? Yes. If attention is on the good that's happening in your life, the energy flows towards gratitude, which is abundance. If your attention is on everything that's not working or everything that's negative, guess what? You're creating more of that. Your flow is negative and you're going to continue to create negative, right? So let's go back to intentional thought. If I'm intentionally wanting, let's just say I'll use a car. It's a simple example. I want a brand new car this year. And guys, I'm going to declare it as vision because it is my vision. I want a white Tesla sedan. Okay, there you go. There you go. A white Tesla sedan, right? So I have a picture of it. I went and test drove the car. I have a picture of it. I want this car. I've had a vision for it for a while. Okay. So all of you that have bought a car before, what happened when you bought that car that was so special? It was so cool. Nobody else had it. You got in it and you drove on the freeway, and then all of a sudden everybody on the planet is driving the same car. You notice it everywhere, right? So the reticular activator's job as a filtering system is to notice. It's like a radar. It's a GPS that notices any imagery that we're focusing on. Right? So if I made a declaration of something that I want, and I'm believing it's going to come back to me, when it's coming back to me, I got to pay attention to the signs, right? So the signs are beaming in. So let's get a new job. All of a sudden I get an email or I get a phone call or I get a text from somebody who says, hey, by the way, so-and-so's hiring over there. Okay. Or I'm thinking about a friend I haven't seen in a long time. I want to connect with that person. All of a sudden the phone rings or I get a text or I get an email. Now this is going a little woo-woo for those of you out there that don't understand energy connection. But the truth is, if we really do believe in energy and we're all connected, when I'm putting it out there, it's connecting to somebody else. It's connecting on the other side of the planet because there are no limitations to energy. So I'm going to back off the woo-woo and go back to something a little more like understandable. But this reticular activator, which is filtering 11 million bits of information, its job is to notice so that we can take action. Its job is to notice the signs that are in alignment of what we're focusing on. So if I'm focusing on what I want to create in my business, I need to be aware of when that potential client calls or when this new deal comes in or some appointment might show up. If I'm focusing on relationship, I need to pay attention to when my friend says, hey, I want to set you up on, or maybe somebody else reaches out and says they got someone to connect me with. If you ignore those signs and you don't take action on them, then guess what? You're pretty much saying, I'm not going to receive. And then you're going to stop being delivered to because it cuts off the flow. Okay. So I'm going to catch a breath so you can talk because I've been nonstop talking, and then I'm going to come back to this. So maybe there's questions.
I told you we need to bottle your energy. We need to bottle it up.
Just get started.
And the reticular activating system also acts to block things out as well, not just notice, but then to also filter things out. Is that true? So again, that you can hone in on what you're really
more of a warning.
It's a what?
Yes, it's your filtering system and it's also your warning system. It also, it makes you aware of things that aren't working. So you, okay. That goes back to intuition too. So, we all know, we say we don't know. It's just a lie. We make up the story in our head. Oh, I don't know. That's a lie. Okay. We know the answers. The answers are always within. We're just so rattled and noisy up here that we don't hear them. So if we just be quiet for a minute, by the way, that's why meditation is so powerful. Meditation for the purpose of quieting your mind so that you can notice, that you can be calm, that you can allow things to come in. Because we got chatter and rattle and all kinds of stuff going on. We don't even notice what's going on in our life. And that's a whole nother day. But anyway, so the reticular activator, if we are not in alignment with our core values and we're doing something that we know either isn't right or someone is like near us that we know isn't right, we'll have a sensation in our body because our mind and our gut are also a part of our mind, right? This is what connects us all together. That reticular activating system and our intuition is going to tell us you need to get out, you need to get away, whatever that might be, okay? And we need to pay attention to that as well. But thank you for bringing up that point because it will. It does help you block out the things you don't need in your life. So back to this. So the GPS system, that's what it is. It's our GPS. Is that reticular activator.
Guys, if you have any questions, just
Pay
drop it
attention.
in the comments below because I'll be scanning and looking. So we will get to them, I promise. So I'm looking right now. If you have any questions, just type them below.
I have a couple more points I'd like to make, just like small things that they can take away that
Okay.
I use in my own life that are a lot of fun. Okay. Put this quote out today, which I love, love, love. Okay, that paper does not like me right now, so I'm just going to deal with it, all right? So, all right, positive thoughts or negative thoughts. What can you do when the negative thoughts are bombarding you? Okay, what can you do to calm yourself down? What do to kind of stop that way of thinking? Number one, I would say surround yourself. First of all, get a good support system of people that are positive that you can lean on, but also fill your brain like all the time, as much as possible, with positive things. Maybe that many channels on YouTube that you can watch and you can download into your phone, stick into headphones, pop them in your ears and listen to them whenever you're going down that slippery slope. You can also put on podcasts, and Steph, you probably talked about those podcasts with Sai Seminars, company that I worked with and still do for the last 4 years, helping build these seminars, which are all around personal growth. They've got awesome facilitators that talk about, you know, all kinds of elements that are going to keep you in the positive mindset. All right. Leadership, etc. So, but talking to yourself too, you have the ability to pause. You know, when it comes to that event happens in your life and response, how often are we like instantaneously reactionary? Like we don't think.
Almost all the time.
On autopilot, right? Right. And unfortunately, in marital relationships or boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever that looks like, a lot of intimate relationships, some of the fighting that takes place is like so instantaneous because that thought pattern is so ingrained and they have the need to be right or they don't want to be wrong or whatever that might look like. And they're firing up. What I'm suggesting is pause for a second. Pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Notice your thinking. If you just pause for a second and then go to compassion, I say go to curiosity instead of judgment. Get into curiosity out of judgment. And if you start to ask the other person questions about why they said what they said or why they did what they did, you can gain a greater understanding of that other person. And here's the truth. All conflict resolved is greater intimacy. When you get to know the person better at a deeper level, authentic and open, you know what I'm saying? Like that communication level where you really start to have compassion for them. Well, all this anger and the stuff that we get engaged in is useless. We start to recognize how useless it is. It's negative energy we don't need to carry. So I'm just suggesting that if you really want to switch your negative patterns of thinking is take the time to set yourself up with the monitoring the inputs. Make sure all the inputs that are going into your brain are positive. And guess what, folks? We get things in our brain even when we're sleeping. We get things in our brain when we're in front of the TV dozing. So, you know, there's lots of terms for the television. Okay, I personally like documentaries. I like things that help me grow. I like things that are like feel good, loving. There's a lot of stuff out there that isn't. CNN, constantly negative news. Okay? Right, constantly negative news. If that's all we're listening to and that's all we're feeding ourselves every day, you know, what a bummer. What a bummer when we have the opportunity to put positive things in. So getting back to my original thought, one, stop yourself, pause, say next, like in other words, go next like an eraser, and erase whatever you're going to do, okay? Say, so what, now what? I love these little things. So what, now what? Look at what happened because it was just an event. Accept it that it was just an event. Just look at it. See it for what it really is by understanding it, right? And then move. Right. I mean, we just don't take the time to do these things. And they're very simple steps. So I encourage everyone to really make it a point to set yourself up. Get clear on, like I said, get clear on your vision, get clear on your why, get clear on your purpose, get clear on your passions. Put your vision in writing. Craft a mantra. If you have a mantra that you memorize, you can just go to that mantra. It's like prayer. You know, and I didn't touch on this, but you know, nothing that I'm talking about has to do with religion. It translates to religion. So anybody who's out there practicing a religion, I could talk about laws of attraction and universe, and you could call it God, or you could call it, you know, the cow, or whatever it is that you want to, like, you know, whatever it is that you pray to, that's your life. All I'm suggesting is have something that you're going to tap into and have something that you believe that you're connected to, your higher power, that is. So set yourself up with success, pause, say stop, say next. Don't have judgment on what took place. It's just an event. That's all it is. And get this, the thoughts we have are things. And if that thought is a thing, right? The thought is a thing. Pretend you can hold it in your hand. Pretend you're holding that thought in your hand and ask yourself, is this serving me right now? Is this thought serving me?
That's good.
And
that's good.
And if it's not serving you, why am I having it?
Exactly.
Why? Okay, so then you go, all right, like literally, like you could go to an exercise, pull the thought out. I think I'm not good enough right now. I'm scared. That's a thing. I'm looking at it. Now go, but I am good enough and I can do this and I'm going to do it anyway. Hey, where your fear is, there is your task, folks. Whatever you're afraid of, step into it because your growth is on the other side. Your growth is on the other side. So trust yourself, trust you're capable.
And I want to else is to do is not. It takes for a week and like, this stuff doesn't work crap. No, it just got to keep doing it. It's just, well, you got to keep doing it. Wouldn't you agree? You can't. I try it one, and then if you're not manifesting what you want, you give up on it.
Yeah, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Listen, and the signal's really bad, so I'm partially getting you. So I don't know what you're hearing with me, if anything. Okay. But you bring up a valid point that I want to bring up, and that is that it wasn't Jack Canfield. Who was it? It was the other. Yeah, it was 144 submissions. 144 submissions of chicken soup of the soul before it was actually approved and published. So think about that. Being denied 143 times, or 144, because on 145th you got it. You need to be so committed. You do not let outside circumstances stop you. You do not let people's negative input stop you. You don't let anything that's outside of your empowerment place stop you. Stay committed to the what. The how will show up. It may not look the way you want it to look. And by the way, let go of the control because that constricts. If you feel that you need to control how it's going to look, that constricts the flow of energy. And quite frankly, it might actually not even make it happen for you because you feel that it has to look a certain way. Go to infinite possibility. I have no idea what time it is. So I'm going to tell one quick story and then I promise I'm going to like zip down. So you can maybe ask questions or close out. So my son, Matthew Crawford, 12 years old in 6th grade. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little scared, so I don't know what you.
So my son's 12 years old in 6th grade. He tells me that he wants a Sidekick phone. Now this is back in 2000. It was 2006 because I just moved to Cali, right? 2006. He's in 6th grade. He's mommy. I want a Sidekick phone. I'm like, you are smoking crack. That phone is $400. I'm not buying it for a 12-year-old. I love you dearly. I'd love to give you everything you want in your life, but I'm not buying you a $400 phone. Okay, fine. My son, both of my kids used to watch The Secret every morning before school. They would sit in front of the TV and they would watch it. I would just have it play all the time because that way they would pick up the tidbits, background noise, okay?
Wow.
So print out the image of this Sidekick phone. And he had a little razor phone, okay? That was his phone. Had a little razor, so he had the imagery on his computer, printed out the picture, put it in his binder, had it on his screensaver. Like he was really committed to the visual imagery of having this Sidekick. Fast forward 2 weeks. He's skateboarding in the little bike paths in our neighborhood, and there's mulch beds everywhere, and he kicks his skateboard out, and it lands in this mulch bed. So he bends down, and he picks it up, and underneath the skateboard is 2 $100 bills, all dried up and crusty in mulch, okay? So he flies home, comes in the door, mommy. Like, I'm like, only my kid, right? Like, okay, so you got $200. That's so awesome. I pick up the money. He gets online. The phone was reduced to $199.99 that weekend.
Wow.
Okay. Is that controlling the how?
No, not at all.
Is that controlling how it's going to be delivered? Not. He just trusted it's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to look like. It's just going to happen. Sometimes we need to go back to that childish view and just like trust. Look, be committed to it. It'll show up.
Yes.
And just keep going.
Brilliant.
Keep going.
Wow. Oh my gosh, Colleen.
So
that is just so awesome. Now, just tell me real quick, what are you training right now? So if somebody wants to get more information from you, wants to hear further details, maybe wants to collaborate a little bit more with you, what's the best way to reach out to get in touch with you?
Thank you for asking. If anybody wants to talk to me or has questions in any way, shape, or form, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. I'm sure there's a way you can probably see me on this thing. Just click on, happy to friend me, send me a message. I'm not the best on Facebook Messenger, but once I have you, I'll shoot you my cell phone and we can go to text, because I'm much faster on text. And as much as I'd like to say I have this all online now, I don't, but it's in the works. So I'm working diligently to have an online platform. But I do host trainings in Cleveland, Ohio, doing various workshops, individual coaching, corporate coaching, all kinds of things. Just, connect with me. I'll be happy to go over that with you.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Does anybody have any questions? I'll give you like a minute to type it in. And you'll be seeing this as well, Colleen. So you'll see, hey, Roxanne, you'll be seeing people's comments later. So maybe people are seeing the replay. They might watch this tomorrow and they'll be typing in a question then. You and I both have access to it, that you can always answer their question in the comments as well. So,
awesome.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
all right, cool.
I don't see any questions right now, but I just want to thank you so much for your time. This was such value. I'm so excited. This got me ramped up again, and I'm sure you've blessed so many people tonight. So thank you so much. This was awesome.
No, thank you. This was so fun for my first opportunity to do this. I'm so happy you invited me to do it. So thank you.
I'm so excited.
With it.
So now you jumped into something new. That's fantastic. Okay, you're going to do it? Okay. How did we end the Psy seminar? When you had us all like,
I'm excited. That's right.
So here's another thing. Like, don't you agree motion affects your emotion? So if you're droopy and tired and grumpy, what should you do? If you want to change it like that, what do you do?
One solution, and it works every time. And it's my favorite. I've got a gazillion of these videos ready. It's called the I'm Excited. On the count of 3, we jump up and down and we scream, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. Do it when you get out of bed. It'll change your day. Steph, you want to do it with me?
I can try. I don't know if I can fit back. I'll let you do it.
Okay, ready? Again. 1, 2, 3. I'm excited, I'm excited.
And it's silly, but I'm telling you, it works. It works. I've done it many times. So thank you so much, sweetie. I love you to death. I thank you for taking the time. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have questions or you're watching the replay, just drop it in below. Reach out to Colleen or me if you have further questions. I can make sure you get in touch with her. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Have a blessed night. I'll talk to you soon. Love you guys. Love you, Colleen. Bye-bye.
Good night.